Foreign aid madness mid staff scandal. Campaigner backs call for extra cash for NHS. Hundreds of patients needlessly perished because of a catalogue of failings at two hospitals between January 2005 and March 2009, where cost-cutting saw elderly and frail patients left without food and water and abandoned in soiled bedclothes. Like millions of people, she is bewildered at how Britain can send vast sums of cash overseas, while services here reach breaking point due to lack of investment. Ms. Bailey's first-hand account of utter chaos on the front line, with patients drinking from flower vases, shocked those unaware of the care crisis gripping hospitals nationwide. She set up campaign group Cure the NHS in the wake of the scandal, and last night set a warped policy that sees £13.3 billion of taxpayers' cash drift abroad every year, and foreign aid was a kick in the teeth to a generation who deserved better. Sign the petition online to stop the foreign aid madness here, she said. It's now 10 years since I lost my mother Bella at mid-staffs. We can't return to those dark days where patients were forgotten and balancing the books was the priority, where we hit the target but missed the point. We have a workforce crisis looming, staff morale at an all-time low, a huge increase in patients, and not enough funding to meet the needs of our older generation and keep them safe. It is a shameful betrayal of the generation that built this country. The NHS is critical, and we need urgent funding. I fear without it no lessons will have been learned from the mid-staff's disaster, and we will return to those dark days and end up losing our NHS for good. It doesn't seem right that we can send money in foreign aid, yet we can't keep NHS patients safe. I back the Express campaign as the time has come to think of our own first. Ms. Bailey's concerns come as support for the Daily Express Stop the Foreign Aid Madness crusade continues to grow. We now spend 0.7% of our national income on overseas aid. Our campaign, backed by 70,000 readers, calls on the government to adopt a common-sense approach to spending taxpayers' money, with more sent to alleviate chronic cash shortages in the NHS, elderly services and social care. As the NHS braces itself for another winter of chaos, managers of hospital and ambulance trusts across England say staff shortages pose a serious risk to patient safety and quality of care. The health service faces a recruitment crisis with an estimated shortage of at least 50,000 doctors and nurses. A survey of managers at 149 trusts in England by NHS providers found the majority believe workforce issues are the single biggest risk facing services. Bella was 86 when she collapsed in hospital in 2007 after being left without oxygen. Ms. Bailey spent the next 8 weeks sleeping on the ward and finally blew the whistle on a litany of serious failings which culminated in a public inquiry. She said, "I wish today I could tell you that the NHS is safe. I can't. But what I can tell you is there is a lot more people trying to make it safe than there was in 2007, when I began my campaign to cure the NHS. I'm encouraged by the enthusiasm and commitment to change among NHS staff. I think every single person and organization within the NHS has reflected on what needs to be done differently, and many are doing things differently. In her final days, my mother suffered horrendously at the hands of those who should have cared for her. What I saw on that ward will stay with me for the rest of my life. It is a story I have told many times over the last 10 years, and while patient safety has certainly been put on the agenda, the sad fact is that so little has actually changed. She just shouldn't have suffered the way she did. I still have so many unanswered questions, something I share with thousands of families who have also seen loved ones suffer poor NHS care. The urgent need to plow more cash into vital services on which millions of Britons rely comes as analysis by Age UK shows total public spending on older people's social care has been slashed by £160 million in real terms in the 5 years to 2015-16. The charity says that by 2020-21 spending would have to increase by a minimum of £1.65 billion to £10 billion just to keep pace with the demands of an aging population. The UK's overseas aid commitment sees £1 in every £7 spent on aid globally coming courtesy of the British taxpayer. Meanwhile, NHS hospitals and ambulance trusts recorded a deficit of more than £700 million in the last financial year, with about 100 of 235 trusts ending the year in the red. John O'Connell, chief executive at the Taxpayers Alliance: "Taxpayers have every right to know how their money is